Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is July 17th. 4 games in the W for today. Good news and some bad news. Good news is there is 4 games. A lot of WNBA, WNBA action to watch. Bad news is they pretty much all start at the same time. So unless you got multi-view on YouTube TV or, multiple screens, or there's a game you don't care about, good luck just trying to watch all of them. I hate it because it makes it hard to live bet. When you got all this stuff going on. But regardless, y'all not here for that. Y'all here to hear me listen to you guys are here to listen and hear me break down the games, and I'm gonna do just that, man. Yesterday it was easy. As soon as the second game got canceled between the Liberty and the Wings, it was easy for me not to make a bet. Like I talked about it yesterday. I never trust Washington. Never trust Washington. It's a team that my gut just won't let me press the button on Washington, man. So I didn't make any official plays. I think the first half did stay under, and that's what I had on the screen yesterday. Washington first half just continue to cash, whether they are holding the opponent down or they just don't score the basketball. I think they shot like 11%, 17% from 3-point line early in that game. It got smoked by the Portland Fire, and that was so crazy. Portland is not a good team, but regardless of that, man, we move forward into today, man. Outliers happen all the time. Let's go to Jackson, your sports betting, AI sports betting tool, buddy, homie, whatever you want to call it. Today I asked Jackson I wanted to talk about props, but I didn't really enjoy any of them. So I went to totals. Asking Jackson to prompt is analyze today's WNBA slate to identify highest volume opportunities for game totals, over unders, highlight matchups with the largest discrepancy between current sportsbook lines and projected output data based on teams' pace, possessions per game, their offensive and defensive efficiency ratings over the last 5, and head-to-head historical trends, specifically factor in rest advantage, travel schedules, and missing key rim protectors and high volume shooters. Provide the data, the pace projections, and the analytical reasoning for each over-under recommendation. So Jackson, the first one on the list, actually gave me a play on each total, but we'll go Storm and Fever because that's the first one on here. And Jackson likes over 175.5. It says that the pace projection is about 82.3. The efficiency context is Indiana has a 107.8 defensive rating, and Seattle versus Seattle's 95.6 defensive rating. So recommendation over 175.5 minus 108. This is available on DraftKings. It said the Indiana Fever are currently the engine of high-scoring games in the Eastern Conference, while Seattle boasts a stout defensive efficiency of 95.6 defensive rating. They're missing a critical defensive anchor in Ezzy Magmore. She's out. Her absence as a rim protector significantly lowers the ceiling of the Seattle's interior defense, while Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark are primed to exploit. Indiana's pace is stabilized around 70.03 possessions, but their offensive output is surging. Kelsey Mitchell is averaging a staggering 22.6 points per game, and Caitlin Clark 19.7 points per game is listed as probable despite a minor leg contusion. The Fever have found themselves in a superstar dilemma between Clark and Mitchell, but the results has been a consistent offensive explosion with Mitchell breaking franchise records for consistent double-digit figure games. Seattle has shown they can score in bunches against the top-tier teams like the Liberty, and Indiana's middle-of-the-pack defense, 107.8. This game is set to fly past the 175.5 mark, which I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Not going to talk about the other ones for time purposes, but yeah, I like the over in that game as well. We'll talk about it. I didn't bet it, but we'll talk about it. Let's get into the games, man. Let's jump straight into it. Try to be quick and precise. I made one official play so far. There's a couple things that I'm looking to add. WNBA has been good to us recently. Fingers got to be crossed, though, because you never know how it's going to go in the WNBA. But let's jump into it. So first off, we'll start with the Seattle and Indiana game. Let me just get to my notes, refresh the injury report, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yesterday I saw – so Seattle, Indiana is so we got Caitlin Clark probable, and then Aaliyah Boston listed as questionable. Now, Caitlin Clark did go to the locker room in that game against Golden State the other day. And Aaliyah Boston's popped up on the injury report. She's listed as questionable, and that makes this game really, really difficult to play because the Knee and the Fever are one team with Aaliyah Boston. They're a totally different team without her. If Aaliyah Boston plays, the way I kind of see this game is you take the over. The only hiccup is that Seattle can be really, really bad offensively on the road. No, Seattle defensively on the road is the reason why you want to play, this game over. The Storm, for whatever reason, when they go on the road, they forget how to play basketball. 2-12, straight up, 6-8 against the number. They are coming off 3 straight losses on the road, back-to-back overs where they gave up 95 to the Sky in that Camp Day game 2 days ago, 84 against the Mystics, 89 against the Dream. So defensively, they haven't really been able to stop anybody. And we know that the Fever played the fastest pace. They're one of the better offensive teams in the WNBA, but you need to Aaliyah Boston in. Other thing for Seattle is this is a terrible spot. It's the last of a 5-game road trip as well. They have covered 3 of their last 4. They didn't cover the other day because that line was pretty short. And for the Fever, should be a bounce back spot offensively. Second game back home off the 4-game road trip. They lost to Golden State by 13. We did get that one right the other day. They were laying 2.5. It's the first of a back-to-back with the Liberty coming to town tomorrow as well. So maybe they do rest Aaliyah Boston today and, make sure she plays tomorrow. Probably a nationally televised game tomorrow. All of the Fever games feel like a nationally televised. So, I would love to have Aaliyah Boston in this matchup. And these two teams did play early this season. Indy won 89-78 as a 12.5-point favorite, but didn't cover. That game went under the 176.5, and Indy has beaten Seattle 5 straight times. So essentially, like, bad teams playing their 5th straight road game as a dog don't play defense. What I had in my system, one of the systems that I had is 9-2 to the over, 82%. Again, Seattle gave up 95 to Chicago, 84 to Washington, 89 to Atlanta in their last 3. Indy 73 to the over in their last 10. A couple more systems here. It says to take the over as well, but I'll see what happens with Aaliyah Boston. Maybe we get a better number if she's rolled out. But yeah, should be less rim protection. Tipson is not terrible, and Misha Hans-Allen is not great as a rim protector, but yes, she can box out a little bit. But yeah, I think over is the right play. I just did not bet it. From a player prop perspective, this is one that I do want to talk about player prop just really, really quickly. I think you just go back to the thing that's been working, man. It's Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell has been absolutely cooking. So let me minimize myself. So this is Kelsey Mitchell 3-point prop. You can see -115 on Profit X. No Big got this at FanDuel, got it at -120. Caesars -124. So it's still playable in my opinion here. But Kelsey Mitchell has just been absolutely crushing this 3-point shot. 2.5 is the number. The thing about the Storm's defense is they're not necessarily the worst 3-point defense overall. They actually give up, like, they're top 3, I think, and they're actually number 1 in opponent 3-point percentage on the full season. But when you start breaking this down in the road games, you start looking more recently, they give up a bunch of attempts, right? And eventually they're going to fall. 3rd fewest makes, but the 12th most attempts. And we know that the Fever, love the run and gun. I do think Kelsey Mitchell should be able to, get there. The number 1 3-point shooting team in the WNBA, 3rd in makes. Kelsey Mitchell has a lot to do with that, of course, as you can see here. She's over 2.5 in 9 of her last 10 games, 55% of her last 20 games as well. And I think that I think she should be able to get busy. You can see she's shooting 49% from 3 in her last 10 games, and the attempts are there as well. You can see at least 8 attempts in 3 of her last 5 games. So Kelsey Mitchell threes, Kelsey Mitchell points. She's been absolutely on a tear recently. Was held to just 20, but this is the best defense in the WNBA, so no slight to her there. I would think that her volume would increase as well if Aaliyah Boston doesn't play. So keep that in mind. Something to note for today. I did not bet Kelsey Mitchell, but that's the way that I would look to bet that game. Over Kelsey Mitchell threes, Kelsey Mitchell points, something of that sort. But again, make sure you pay attention to the injury report and see what they do with Aaliyah Boston, especially on the first leg of a back-to-back. All right, next couple games I will go through a little bit faster. So the next one is what we got? LA and Chicago. So LA, Chicago, this is the first game I looked into yesterday. So 1.5 was the number that Chicago opened at. That number has now, I mean, you still some 1.5s out there, but it was starting to come down a little bit. This total is also, I was surprised that it's still going up, but it is still going up, I think, right? Let's see. Was it 183.5 the opener? Yeah, 182.5, 183.5 was the opener. It's up to 184.5. And that's about it. That's about high as I can't play a total this high. Like, yes, there's a lot of things that make sense for this game to go over, but you're looking at the Sparks to get to 93, for them to get over this number, and Chicago to get to 93. You essentially need both of these teams to get to 93. Now, are these two of the worst defensive teams in the WNBA? Absolutely. But before we get there, let's address the injury report. So Cameron Brink is back. She played in the last game against Minnesota. Looked pretty good in that game as well. And then Williams is also game time decision for the Sparks team, which means that Kelsey Plum is the only person on the injury report. And I'm guessing she's coming back after the All-Star break. On the Chicago side of things, and this is the reason I haven't bet this game yet, Cardoso is listed as questionable. So for the Sparks, it's the third of a 4-game road trip. They're coming off back-to-back losses against Atlanta and Minnesota. 4 straight covers, though. They've been getting points, and they've been, covering. Most of the time has been bigger spreads. And then on the Chicago side of things, not necessarily the greatest spot. It's the second game back home after a 4-game road trip, and they've covered 3 of their last 5. I was going through and kind of looking at the matchup between these two teams, and I think Sparks are the right side. It's hard for me to want to, think the Sparks are going to win a game, but they have won some games. I just hate them defensively, of course. They don't get stops at all. Only 1 day of rest in between, so I know that they didn't work on anything. Even if they had time, they probably wouldn't work on anything defensively. But Sparks did win the game 7 days ago when these two teams played. They were laying 1.5 points as a home favorite, of course, 102-87. So 15-point win for them there. The last 6 games have gone over the total. 7 of the last 10 have actually cleared this number in the head-to-head matchup. The Sparks have played in 4 straight overs, all clearing 183 or higher. 7 of the last 10 have gone over the number as well. And then on the Chicago side of things, they played in 3 straight overs. They're over in 7 of their last 10, and their last 3 have all cleared 185 or more. So I can't tell you guys to take an under. I would just tell you guys that the totals are starting to catch up to where these lines are. I think the Sparks are the right side, though. Just a lot of systems that I had said take the Sparks in this spot. And before I take the Sparks, I think I'd rather just take their team total over. When I was going through and looking at, just Chicago's defense recently, it's been bad, man. If Cardoso doesn't play, I do think that, this isn't the Storm's offense. This is the Sparks offense. I think they'll come in here and light the Sparks team, light this Chicago team up. So I think the Sparks are the right side, man. I do. I think that they can win this game. The fact that they only get a 1.5, if Cardoso gets ruled out, they'll probably flip to the favorite. So if you think that Cardoso isn't going to play, which she didn't play in the last game, I kind of feel like she could, get another day off of rest here. It's only been 2 days since that game. But yeah, I just think that, the way that the Sparks go to basketball, Chicago's inability to be able to get stops. They gave up 90 to Seattle. They gave up 96 to Dallas. They gave up 102 to the Sparks, 98 to the Aces, 107 to the Aces, 94 to the Phoenix, to the Portland Fire. Like, they just haven't been getting stopped. So I do think the Sparks, either team total over, like, it's hard to take a team to get to 93 points, but I do think that is valid, or the Sparks to win the game. Would be the ways that I'm playing. The Sparks have scored 92 or better in 3 of their last 4 games, and was only 5 points away against the Minnesota Lynx, which is the second best defense in the WNBA in their last game. So I think the Sparks will continue to be able to score the basketball. And I don't trust Chicago at home. I think I just have to take the dog in this matchup. So that's my thought process on that game. I think I said I was going to be quicker, and that probably was not quicker. Just be having a lot of thoughts, man. I've been trying to share my thoughts, a lot of thoughts. All right, let's go through the Atlanta-Toronto game. All right, so Atlanta opened 7.5-point road favorites. This total was at 182.5, I think it was. And it's still 7.5. Total's going up. 183.5 is what I see. 184.5 for a couple books as well. 182.5. It's still just kind of all over the place. Injury report wise, you have Tina Powell listed as questionable. Bree Jones is eventually going to return. She didn't play in that last game, but she's listed as questionable as well. Timmy Fong-Bagley is listed as probable on the Toronto side of things. There's still no Kiki Rice. There's still no Brittany Sykes. Even though Brittany Sykes, I think, was doing some solo work. I think Kiki will be out until after the All-Star break, is what Sandy Brondello said. So on the Atlanta side of things, they are coming off 3 days rest. They beat the Sparks, but depending on the number that you got, they didn't cover, or they may have covered. If you got the 8.5, then they covered. But if you got the 9.5, they did not cover. So if you count that game as a non-cover game, that's 9 straight non-covers for this Atlanta Dream team. First road game after 4 straight home games as well. They've already, beaten this Toronto team. The first time they smoked them, that game was in Toronto. The second time they got up big, and then they just couldn't hold on to the lead. Didn't end up covering that game, and I think that was one of the first games that they, started not covering. And it's been offensively and defensively. Atlanta's not been great defensively at all, as you saw in their last game. Couldn't get a stop against the Sparks. They didn't cover against the Seattle Storm. So Atlanta is now 4-7 when they land points on the road this season, and they have a plus 1.5 net rating. So they typically win by about, a 1.5. They've lost 4 in a row and have held to cover all 4 in a row as well on the road. So it's not a spot where I want to lay points with Atlanta. I know that they're the better team. I know that they're a much more talented team as far as who they have on the floor, especially with Toronto still being injured, but not for my money, man. I can't lay with Toronto with Atlanta. Toronto coming off a 15-point loss to Washington as 1.5-point dog after beating New York, and they've only won and covered one of their 6 games that they played during this 7-game homestand, which is also pretty telling. So it's hard for me to want to get to either team here. Tempo are 6-8 when they're catching points at home, minus 1.6 net rating. So the line kind of tells me Toronto plus the points. It's a kind of a I don't know how gross it is actually, because I wouldn't take Atlanta. Proverbial gun to my head or free bet. I'm taking Toronto plus the points in this game, even though I know Atlanta is capable of playing much better. Let's move to the total. So Atlanta, the first game was 170.5. It went over. The second game was 178.5, and it finished 179. I don't know. This total feels a tad bit too high. It feels like, again, when you start to get to the high 170s, the low 180s, you're expecting everything to be right, to go right. I know that Toronto's defense is not great. Atlanta eventually is going to play a little bit of defense. I don't know if I guess you got to trust their offense, because defensively, well, actually not on the road. Atlanta's offense hasn't been as great on the road. We haven't seen them on the road in quite a while. So I say all that to say it's hard for me to want to get to an over. I do have a system that backs the over. I can't play it this high, though. That's just really what it comes down to for me. I consider Jordan Canada's assists in this spot. I think he's in a pretty good spot. Toronto gives up a ton of assists. I consider Angel Reese points plus rebounds. Toronto doesn't have a lot of paint protection. Angel Reese has been playing pretty well. She's been clearing the line. Forgot what the number was, but those two things are, things are on my short list because Toronto's defense is so bad. I didn't get to the window with either one of those, though. So giving you guys my thoughts. I probably won't be playing this game. If I do, I'll probably ditch the player props and just play the team total that I'm sorry, not the team total. The Toronto tempo plus the 8 is what I would be playing in this game. But again, you can kind of wait in this one and see if Bree Jones is going to play, see if Tina Powell is going to play. Maybe that's the better thing. All right, so now let's get to a game, last one that I did actually bet, and that is Connecticut and Phoenix. So line was at 4.5 yesterday, went up to 5.5. I saw 3.5 this morning when I woke up. So kind of all over the place. For the Connecticut Sun, this is so first off, Sanaya Rivers is probable, so she should return. Anisha Morrow is doubtful. She probably won't play because she's dealing with some not dealing with, but trying to get reconditioned because she's missed so much time. On the Phoenix side of things, Sammy Whitcomb is listed as questionable. I don't see a reason for her not to play. It said reconditioning for her. It said injury management for her. I think she should play. I know Sammy Whitcomb's old, but I think that she should play. Phoenix need wins in the worst possible way, and they need offense as well. So I think Sammy Whitcomb is going to play, but that's just my thought process. I have no idea. Natasha Mack is listed as doubtful. I don't think that she's going to play. And I think that's a really good place to start, man. When I was looking at this game yesterday, so what I bet was I bet the total. I got a 163.5. There is still some 163.5s out there, but this is on the move. FanDuel still got it at 163.5 right now, and that's where I got it in. I got it in at last night at minus 106. It's minus 114 right now. 164.5 on a couple books, and even 165.5 on Bet Rivers as well. I like the over in this game, man. So let's go and just kind of stand with the Natasha Mack thing. I was looking into this game yesterday. So with no Mack on the floor, Phoenix games are averaging 176 points on 171 average total. So they're going over by about 5 points with no Mack on the floor. They're getting to 176. We just need 165 in this game, or 164 in this game. The 18 games that she's actually played, so now Mack on the floor before getting hurt, those games average 168 on a total of 167. So, defense has been a little bit better. Maybe they play a little bit slower. They don't have a true center. Lissa Thomas is not really a center. She's more like a power forward / small forward, in my opinion. So those are a couple reasons. Connecticut is coming into this game with 2 days of rest. This is the first road game after 3 straight home games for them. They played 9 of their last 10 in Connecticut, coming off the win against the Portland Fire in that Camp Day game a couple days ago, and they've covered 5 of their last 6. I kind of feel like Connecticut is, could win this game as well. They're only 2-8 straight up, 5-5 against the spread on the road, and they've covered 3 of their last 4 as well, and 4 straight overs. That was another reason why I like this one over the total. On the Phoenix side of things, it should be a bounce back spot. I mean, this team has lost 4 straight. They have 3 days of rest. Their last game was on the road, and they played against some really good competition. They lost to the Aces, and then, of course, got smoked by Minnesota as well. But they did cover that game. First game home off a 2-game road trip where, like I said, they lost to Vegas and Minnesota. So when I think about these two teams, I think the biggest difference, I think that there's a big difference, but it's really not a big difference, actually. Like, Phoenix had a lot of expectation, and they just haven't been able to live up to them. Connecticut is 6-18 on the season so far, straight up. And Phoenix is 8-17 on the season. So they have 2 more wins and 1 less loss. Connecticut has been the better team, ATS-wise, at 13-11 as well. Connecticut, I think they could potentially cover this game. They could potentially win this game, honestly. But Phoenix being at home, coming off all the losses, Connecticut not really having played in quite a while. On the road in general, outside of that 1 road game in their last 10 is crazy. So they should be the much more cohesive unit here. But Phoenix also coming off a couple days rest as well, and probably looking to bounce back as well. So getting back to the over, Connecticut 4 straight overs in their last 4 road games. Those total average 166. I thought that was a little bit of an edge here. A couple points. Phoenix 6-2 to the over when they are home favorites. Those games average about 170. And I gave you guys the numbers without Mack on the floor as well. So I bet over 163.5 is what I got. A couple systems that said take Phoenix. I couldn't quite do it. There is a 67% ATS system that I had just based on them having more rest before and after the game, being the favorite at the crib. That system's also 75% this season, but not for my money. Not betting Phoenix today. All right. So quick recap time. Hit the like if you can, subscribe if you guys have not. I'll get you guys out of here. So Connecticut, Phoenix, I did bet over. Let's see. Sparks, I'm just waiting on the Camila Cardoso, news. And then again, like, it sucks, but like, I feel like you kind of got to wait on Aaliyah Boston. My personal opinion, maybe she doesn't play because they have the, Liberty tomorrow, but I think you kind of got to wait on Cardoso, on the injury status of Cardoso. You got to wait on the injury status of Aaliyah Boston, and then the Atlanta-Toronto game. I don't think you wait on anything. I think if I'm betting that game, I'm just taking Toronto plus the 8, thinking that they can keep it close. Double revenge spot at the crib as well. Maybe even early. Toronto, I feel like, has been, matter of fact, let's look real quick. Toronto's been, I feel like, better than Atlanta in the first half. It's just they can't finish games for whatever reason. Let's see. Be nice if they was getting somebody back off the injury report. So last 10 games, let's just look at this real quick. Last 10 games, Toronto is Last 10 games, first half ATS. Dreamers 1-7 in the 4-4 in the first half. If they're road favorite 2-2, if they're road favorite 0-4 ATS, or maybe just take Temple for the full game. Temple are 4-3. They're actually Temple 2-5 in the first half as well. So they have not played as well as I thought in the first half. 0-2 as a home dog as well. So neither one of these teams really that great, but I think the Temple overall can keep this game within the number. Just kind of looking at the numbers and then having played I think it's the 8th straight road game, and they got another game at home after this. I forgot who they played, but they got another game at the crib as well. And then I talked about Kelsey Mitchell, either a 3-point prop over 2.5, which is still playable right now, or her points in general I think are really, really good. Caitlin Clark assists I think should be good. Like Caitlin Clark to get a double-double in this game might be a play as well. You want to sprinkle on those. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys today, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. Resources, they are linked in the description of the video. Check them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyball, and Eyes Jam. And that'll be it, man. Y'all enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the games. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Be safe.